has been that what an index can do for financial advisors who are thinking about like a 1 to 5% allocation to crypto is maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only two things that matter. Maybe it's also Solana and XRP. Maybe there's two other coins that we haven't even talked about yet, like Avalanche, that are really important, and they become very valuable over the long term.
Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. This is going to be part 2 to the previous video breakdown that was uploaded before this one, where we discussed and talked about XRP, staking on our digital assets, yield generation, how these utility assets like Gadara, Flare, XRP are all going to be able to be staked in the future to be able to generate yield. We're going to continue down that rabbit hole in today's video breakdown, where in the previous video, we had discussed and talked about an individual representative from Pantera Finance talk about how we are still in the early stages. And I wanted to back that up via some perspectives from some of the institutional players that operate in this space. So if you enjoy today's video breakdown, continuing down the rabbit hole, showing you guys that learning about DeFi yield generation strategies is a very important part of the crypto investment landscape right now, then do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. We do appreciate the love and the support, always attempting to bring you guys the realest information and who you should be listening to in the space, which is the institutional market makers that literally make these markets. Okay, so over here, just to reiterate from the previous video breakdown, we had the CEO of Pantera Capital talking about how, worldwide banks have the opportunity to serve this rapidly evolving industry and how this is a huge opportunity for banks. While initially crypto was a threat to traditional banks, they now see it as one of the biggest future earning contributors to banks who are nimble enough and agile enough to invest in the right areas. And then he says here, the report goes on to talk about how we are still in the early stages, right? And so I want you guys to listen to this gentleman from VanEck, Matthew Siegel from VanEck, and he talks about specifically how early we are.
So it's really quite early still in that 0 to 1 moment of regulated advisors choosing to allocate 1% of their client assets to Bitcoin. I was on a call recently with 400 investment advisors, and 48% of them still had a zero weight to the Bitcoin ETF. So
that was a huge statement because it gives us an institutional insight into how many asset managers have 0% allocated to this space, 48% out of a conversation of 400 investors. That is huge, right? That just paints a clear picture on the wave of capital that is yet to come once those unlocks take place. Whatever those financial institutions are waiting for, once those uncertainties subside and that money does come flowing in, there's still so much upside potential in this crypto ecosystem. And I play those types of video clips to paint a very clear picture for you guys that, yeah, short term, we could be in a painful market environment due to certain things weighing on risk assets, but long term, we are yet to experience all of that capital inflow. And I have a firm belief that over the next consecutive couple of months / years, we will for a fact experience those inflows. Not financial advice. Now here, they talk about here how every asset manager in the future will need a staking strategy.
We stake about, give or take, 70% of the assets. And we've built some dashboards and algorithms to kind of manage that situation and ensure that we have liquidity to return to shareholders if they redeem. So you may have seen a couple weeks ago, Hester Pierce put out a long document. It had 100 different questions for the asset management community and interested stakeholders to try to answer. A lot of the questions in there are around custody and staking and how broker-dealers can touch this asset. That gets to the heart of the ETF creation and redemption process, which for now has to be done with cash. Which is not normal. You should be able to use Bitcoin or use Ethereum to create shares of these ETFs. Once you can do that, then they become much more liquid. And every broker-dealer in the United States will need a strategy for touching crypto assets, and they'll need a strategy for custodying crypto assets.
Did you all just hear what he said? Every broker-dealer in the US will need a strategy for touching crypto assets. That is huge. All right. The next video clip I want to show you guys is how they talk about how regulators are making decisions on staking and institutions all across the board are confident in staking. This is, again, a huge statement. Given previous perspectives on the crypto industry, just hearing this confirmation that all institutions across the board are fixating their attention and excited about staking, that again shows us as retail investors that we should be educating ourselves about the same exact thing.
So just to give you a sense of the type of relationship that we have with the regulators now, Bitwise was given the same answer that Fidelity was given. We were told, you take this out if you want to proceed with the others.
Yeah.
That is there's not a lot of knowledge to be gained from that comment, right? We don't know why. We can guess based on the other actions that the SEC had taken against other staking providers, but we weren't told you take it out because A conflicts with this regulation or the implementation. It conflicts with another part of our interpretive guides. We were just told take it out and you can go, leave it in and you can. And so contrast that to what's happening now, where you heard what Matt was sharing about Commissioner Peirce and the crypto task force issuing a long list of questions, asking directly industry participants what they want to see happen. Almost every asset manager that I know of has answered that question by saying we want to see in kind, we want to see staking.
Wow, what a huge statement. Every asset manager wanting the ability to stake.
Industry participants, what they want to see happen. Almost every asset manager that I know of has answered that question by saying we want to see in kind, we want to see staking.
That is, again, huge. Now, let's listen to these last two video clips. The individual representative from Fidelity talking about a multi-coin portfolio wrapper for ETPs. And then the gentleman from Bitwise mentions a possible XRP ETP. And I showed you guys to full circle this in the previous video breakdown, which is a precursor to this one, how the XRPL ecosystem is starting to see these DeFi solutions where we're going to be able to, with our XRP as retail investors, lend, borrow, stake, liquid stake, be a liquidity provider, participate in AMMs, generate passive rewards through yield aggregation platforms. This is huge, people, what I'm showing you guys. And I'm physically showing you all proof that the financial institutions are talking about the same exact thing that we're talking about here in the CYPRX 1228 Club. So listen to these last two video breakdowns from Fidelity and Bitwise.
So a little bit of what Matt just said. We built our research and our data analytics team within the asset management division, and Fidelity's asset management division being long active investors. We are research led in the way that we build portfolios, and that is the lens through which we've built our research team as well. We've constructed our own indices, and we're looking forward to bringing more investment exposures to the market. Single asset ETPs have been, and we saw this with both Bitcoin and Ethereum as being really good entry points for retail and institutional investors that prefer having a very well-known wrapper in their back offices and not having to adjust the way in which their back offices are able to process these exposures in their investment portfolios. As we think about bringing multi-token portfolios to the market, as we think about bringing multi-token portfolios to the market, there is going to be the need to put them into these wrappers, and ultimately on our custody side of the business, they also are working toward building out their overall platform and being able to provide investors who want to have direct holdings that option as well.
For Bitwise, I would say we like more single tokens. We're gonna do more single tokens. We think that investors like to trade in their brokerage account instead of having to go onto an app and trade there. So a lot of investors prefer to do their crypto investing or trading through their Fidelity brokerage or their Schwab account, whatever it is. And so we're going to do more there. But the thing I would add to and we like active too. I know that Vinek likes that a lot. But we like index also. So our first product is an index fund. We think an index also resonates with financial advisors and financial professionals who they don't want to talk to us once a quarter about what's this new token, what's this new coin. Do I need to be thinking about Solana instead of Ethereum now? Remember, we hardly got them comfortable with Ethereum yet. So I think one of the initial theses of Bitwise and our investment strategy has been that what an index can do for financial advisors who are thinking about a 1 to 5% allocation to crypto is maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only two things that matter. maybe it's also Solana and XRP. Maybe there's two other coins that we haven't even talked about yet, like Avalanche, that are really important and they become very valuable over the long term. Also Solana and XRP. Maybe there's two other coins that we haven't even talked about yet, like Avalanche, that are really important and they become very valuable over the long term. And I think what an index does for those type of investors who want to be on the theme but don't want to pay attention to it every day, an index allows them to kind of participate in that market cap growth, have the strategy rebalance for them and reweight based on what matters at that time. And it's something that we think makes sense. Maybe the market is not ready for it yet. We think as our market matures, it's something that we think makes a lot of sense for a big swath of investors.
So again, another massive statement specifically talking about multi-token ETPs being launched and individual ETPs being launched for other individual assets, specifically talking about XRP, Solana, Avalanche. But this just goes to show that these institutional participants are detailistically talking about this, not only on stage, but they're discussing and talking about this with regulators, which is yet again why we here at CYPRX are trying to show you guys that now's the time to start to get educated on generating yield with your digital assets through things like staking, liquid staking, being a liquidity provider, lending, borrowing, and you don't have to go out there and sacrifice your digital assets to the DeFi ecosystem right now. You can literally just go start educating yourself, reading documents, watching panel discussions, joining a community of like-minded individuals like the one we offer here for you guys at CYPRX. And if that's not the route you want to take, at a minimum, just start going and dumping free resources into your brain so you start to learn this stuff. Because again, you don't want to get bypassed by these financial institutions in terms of education. And they themselves are going through an educational process, an educational journey right now. They understand the transformation in which we're going through, and they're trying to find the way through it all. And so should you all. Moving with the changing tides, as always, bringing the realest information and research to you guys and insights from these institutional perspectives. Do us a favor, if you enjoyed, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the platform. Don't forget, if anybody wants to tap into our Wealth 28 Club DeFi University, head over to CYPRXtrading.com. We'd love to have you on the team. Check out the free resources with the CYPRX YouTube, the X profiles, which you can all find in the link in the description down below. As always, be condescending out there, be aware, and I'll see you all in the next video breakdown.